A woman should be a better version of herself so that the son sees, okay, this is the standard my mom has, and this is what, it raises the standard for the son. And the same thing goes for the father. Like, father should have a great standard for himself, raise the standard so that the girl knows, okay, whatever the guy that comes next in my life has to match my dad's standard or above him.
Yes, exactly. And when it comes to like, not, we were talking about sexual abuse, right? Now I'll talk about domestic abuse. So fathers that hit their wives and children and everything, right? When the kids grow up, they think that's normal. So when they get into relationships, they also get into, like, most likely they get into abusive relationships because it's a norm for them, and it just becomes a circle. So like, if your mother is going through abuse, like domestic abuse, for example, and the child is seeing it happen for like the long period of time, the whole childhood, right? It has an effect on them. 100% it does. And then either they'll go into alcohol, drugs, or whatever, or they're going to be in an abusive relationship themselves, or they're going to be an abuser themselves. So they're going to abuse the next person. So, like, the household environment itself has to be safe and secure for the children. As a mother, I understand, like, hey, the difficulty, like the cases we receive, like the Mandeep Kaur case was one of the biggest ones in the New
Yeah.
York, right? When we were dealing with that case, the questions that were arising, she committed suicide, she left the children. Like, we're all thinking about the children, but also like what she was going through. If she was given the support that she needed at that time, this would have never happened. Like, it's not even like the support from maybe the parents, even like the community, people knowing and just staying silent about it. How the law took that case where it's like, hey, where was the wellness checks? Like, if you know this domestic abuse situation is happening, why weren't there checkups happening, right? Like, little things. Even though it's her decision at the end of the day of leaving that toxic relationship or abusive relationship, and she didn't have the strength to do it, but at points in time she did. She showed it by going to the police. She showed it by making certain moves, right? But then she was so disappointed with the results that she chose to like kill herself.
Mm.
And now the effects that's going to have on her children in the future and everything. Then how are we helping the next generation? We have to have these topics, right? And honestly, like, our justice system sucks
It
in
does.
all ways and forms. So yeah, an organization like the core movement is needed, because when we get people reaching out to us, it's after they've already reached out to the cops and nothing has been done on their end, especially when it comes to blackmailing. If it comes to like, oh, someone's blackmailing me with my pictures. This person's doing this to me. This person's being verbally abusive to me, but they're threatening me. But the cops, I've told them they are not doing anything. That's when we get involved and we're like, okay, give us the contact of that person. We will reach out to the person and let's see what problem they have. So involving yourself and helping someone that is coming to you is necessary. Sometimes it's necessary for us to go knock on a door, because you know what? The cops aren't doing anything. The last thing I want is another person dead because they feel so suicidal or so traumatized that, hey, like, this person's blackmailing me. They're gonna put my pictures up everywhere. My izzat is gonna be gone. And now what can I do? So they start thinking like that. I get messages on DMs to emails all the time. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna kill myself. It's too much for me. Nobody's helping me. Nobody's doing anything for me. Like, those are, and it's sad to see. Yes, we have victim services in Canada, for example, but the process even of going there, you have to go to the police first to even get to victim services, right? Or like, you can get in touch. There's a lot of other services that are provided. But when you're a victim at that time and you're going through things, you're not thinking about counseling. You're not thinking about getting that type of help. You're thinking about, how do I solve this situation? And there are cases where women have thought that solving the situation is actually meeting up with the abuser and doing what they're telling them to do.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so there was a case that I had one time, actually a few cases, where women feel like if they're getting blackmailed and the guy is telling them, "No, you have to meet me here, you have to meet me now," because they are so scared that the other person will do something else, they actually go meet the abuser. Yeah, so this is what happens. Like when you're in that circle and like you're so not mentally like there, and you're very upset with what's going on, and you don't know how to deal with the situation, and especially when you don't want your parents or family or loved ones finding out, then you actually start listening to the abuser and what they're asking for. And we have cases like that where girls have had sex with people they did not want to have sex with. We have cases where girls will do things for certain people, certain, like, abuser, if they feel threatened or like their safety is at risk. Because sometimes abusers, what they do is they'll be like, "Hey, we're gonna harm your family. I'm gonna come to your house. I'm gonna start honking outside your house if you don't come out." So these are the type of cases we get. And the cops, I don't blame the cops in this sense, because they say that, "Oh, okay, we need something to happen for us to take action." So it's like, for me, I don't want something to
Hmm.
happen. So I want to solve that problem beforehand. So when I say solve that problem, it's if someone is reaching out to me and like asking me for support, I'm going to do what they kind of want. Like the support they need, as in a voice, because they're not a voice for themselves right now. So I have to be a voice for them, meaning getting myself personally involved in the case and taking action, as in either contacting the abuser myself or contacting family or seeing what we can do. And if she is wanting to go, we can't stop her from going. But what we can do is offer and say, "You go, but we'll be behind you."
Hmm.
Right? And we'll be there in the background for you. Like at least the cases in Surrey, Vancouver, like Lower Mainland, yes, there are situations where I have had to follow and be there and let the person do whatever they do, but make sure she's also safe. Because at the end of the day, I don't get that
Right.
choice of what I can't tell them what to do, but at least I can be there for safety reasons or some sort of something. And that gives them a little bit of strength as well. And usually, luckily, I'm able to communicate in that level and give them the motivation and strength to be, and the courage to be like, "Hey, you don't even have to do this. This isn't even something you need to do. We can solve this matter in a different way. And if you don't want to involve the cops, you don't have to." Because a lot of victims don't want to involve cops. Because cops mean someone coming and knocking on your door sometimes. Cops means sometimes, like, having a 3-hour interview in a room, question after question. And the result is not honestly going to go anywhere.
Hmm.
So they don't feel safe going there anyways. So now people have a spot that they come to, the core movement, where we kind of involve ourselves. If they don't feel comfortable involving their loved ones, their cousins, their families, then we get involved. And that's how we kind of have been dealing with all these cases recently. And it's a sad reality, because our goal is to get them to go to the justice system. Our goal is to get them to get support the right way and the proper way. But right now, currently, our justice system is failing these victims. So I don't blame them for coming to organizations like us and asking for support.
Does it take a mental toll on your health? Like you're getting like a lot of like these cases,
Yeah,
and they're not like small. They're like
yeah.
big cases. They're like like hard hitting cases. Does like how do you handle your mental health?
Honestly, I'm just going case by case. It's come to that point now. I'm so numb to it, even though this is not a good thing to say, but I am numb to this stuff. My thing is, I just want to solve the situation and get the person into the healing
Process.
phase of their journey and to just move forward. And I think I have a problem a little bit where I take every case that comes to me very personally, and I put myself in their shoes, and then I go accordingly like that, which, yes, it does take a mental toll, where I'm usually like, oh, like there's just case after case, it's never ending. But when I say when I kneel down in front of God, God stood up for me. When God stood up for me, I realized nobody can stand against me. Every morning I wake up, I still have that same energy to, hey, I'm gonna keep going. Yes, there's moments I'm crying because I'm like, holy, like what's going on in our community? Or why are these cases still happening? It's 2020, like, like it's 2020.
4.
What are we in 2024? Yeah, we're in 2024. And so like it's just, but I feel like it's needed. And I feel like if I set an example of me being like this, more people in our community will become like me and they will do this as well and follow. And I want people to follow what I'm doing, because if we're not protecting our own, then what's the
Mm.
point? Like our own community, what we need to focus on it, heal it, and work as one and not be so separated from each other. And like, the healing needs to start. Like honestly, the healing needs to start, and it's only gonna start if we show support to strangers in our community.
Mm.
Like not like I know these people, like people that reach out to me via email or anything. Some of them are in Germany, India, UK, Australia, but if they're reaching out to me, they're probably at their
Mm-hmm.
lowest. And I know that feeling of being at my lowest. So I'm gonna be there to support. I want to be there to support. And honestly, I want others in our community to do the same. So if someone is coming to you for support, like stand up for them. Like, this is as a Sikh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So follow what we actually preach, right? Slowly
Okay.
getting there, but like I'm trying to follow what we preach.